What are some dark web facts that you know? Story 1. Used to browse the dark web a ton, mostly just to look at all the marketplaces. One time, they used to have an onion link that was like a I'm feeling lucky kind of button for the dark web. And I, of course, being an idiot, did it. I came across something almost like Craigslist, but for the dark web, and it was people advertising to sell their offspring for money. That was the day I stopped browsing. If it makes you feel any better, 99% chance that was a scam or government run fake. Although the fact there even is a chance is horrifying. And even worse is that stuff entirely exists on the clear web or in real life. Story 2. A friend of mine claims he was snooping around where he didn't belong, black market forums and hacking forums, when someone private messaged him basically saying, I've looked into you because I see you in here a lot, and I know you're not here to buy or use the services because you're just a kid. I don't mind, but others will, and you haven't protected yourself well enough to be here. Get off if you know what's good for you. Story 3. Had a very good friend or coworker that used to frequent the dark web as he bought and sold substances on there. He told me that once he was in a chat room with people and claimed he was bragging about how he knows his computers and that none of them could track him. A guy in the chat said, You really think you know everything? And that you are completely protected? My friend doubled down, kept bragging, etc. Then, within 45 seconds, the dude sent him a screenshot of the front of his house. I've heard all of the other stories about Red Rooms, the game, Sad Satan. I have seen some of the gameplay, but nothing unedited. Buying guns, medicine, credit card info. I know they are potentially real, but that's the first time I heard such a story. He did tell me there is a huge market for purchasing snuff videos that you cannot find on the surface web. But any assassin for hire sites are most likely FBI bait. Story 4. Peter Scully and the videos he produced. I'd say that's about as dark and depraved as it gets. A lot of people thought it was an urban legend because yeah, not even the most twisted horror movies would go there. He's in prison in the Philippines now, and they actually considered reinstating the death penalty just for him. So you can imagine what sort of content he created. Google at your own risk, and if you feel like ruining your day, NSFL is an understatement, even if you're just reading about it. The only reason I've had for going on the dark web was to order cannabis a few times in the past. I'd say that's pretty tame. Quick delivery, too. Story 5. Well, considering one of the main points of the dark web is anonymous browsing so that the government can undertake anonymous online activities, Tor was created by the government. I think it's pretty scary that the government is completely content with allowing online meds, weapons, killers, etc., just to allow them to do equally sketchy crap. Tor was created by the government and released to the public so that its purpose wasn't pointless. Anonymous internet access only makes sense if everyone can use it. If they kept it to themselves, it would blow their cover. Think of it like a masquerade party. The king can't be the only one wearing a mask because everyone will know it's him. If everyone wears a mask, nobody knows who the king is. Story 6. My hubby and a friend at one point were really into looking at crap on the dark web. It wasn't my favorite pastime that he was engaging in. He said he stopped when things and videos were starting to get way too messed up and intense. He's seen beheading videos and an assault video involving all types of people. He immediately turned the video off and said, F this, never again, to even explore on the dark web again. He was deeply disturbed by what he saw, even for a split second. This kind of crap is so infuriating. The fact that people even have this kind of platform to share these types of things is so disgusting and despicable to me. Had to edit this. My original wording made my hubby look like a monster, which is not so. I just can't form proper sentences. It happens. Story 7. The deep web is not hard to get to, and it's not really that bad content-wise. Now, the dark web, that is where you begin to question humanity. Well, I bet every person using the internet was already on the deep web. Deep web is defined as all websites that are not indexed by search engines, which is quite a lot. Dynamic content, like the result of Google searches. Any password-protected website and stuff that just got missed by crawlers, like very new content on websites without SEO or web pages without links to them. Story 8. This is a video I watched a few years ago or a post I read about online. I don't know if this is real or not. Anyway, this group of high school or college age kids were exploring the dark web when they stumbled upon a torture video. They got freaked out and said something. Can't remember what I think, what the hell. And the person taking advantage of the girl in the red room stops and stares back at them, and they immediately exited. Also, a lady who ordered a hitman to assassinate her husband, and the guy did actually do so, and they were both arrested. Story 9. The Hurtcore Community. Even the most brutal horror movies don't depict that sort of evil. Nobody wants to believe that things like hurtcore even exist. People say it's a myth or part of some Pizzagate style of conspiracy theory, but it's very real. Just read about Peter Scully. It's like Epstein, but 100 times worse. People are paying massive amounts to see videos with real small children. And people paying are often very wealthy, since they can just pay $10,000 for their twisted fantasies. It's the CEOs and millionaires who are funding the worst entertainment imaginable. After learning about these things, it makes me wonder just how large a part of rich people are unhinged psychopathic sadists. And any evil stuff you can imagine probably exists on the dark web. I don't believe at all that snuff films are a myth. They're a very real thing, and people pay very much to see them. Story 10. Acid Splash. These people would, for a fee, follow someone of your choosing for weeks and take pictures of their life and then interact with everything. Then, they would film themselves attacking the victim with some sort of acid to disfigure them. After, they would follow the same person and see how their interactions would change due to their new image. Then, of course, they would send you the pictures and proof. Story 11. I used to listen to those dark web stories on YouTube, and there's one where this boy went on a forum and picked a fight with someone on it, and they traced his exact location, his name, his number, his family, friends, colleagues, and then they said if he didn't do something like cut his hand off, they'd end everyone he knew. Maybe it was fake, and I haven't been able to find it to this day, but I wouldn't doubt there are people there capable of doing exactly that, and everyone you love, and ultimately end you. Story 12. The dark web is boring. It's mostly broken links and a few badly designed fake sites. Edit. Since there seems to be a bit of interest in this comment, I'm going to elaborate a little more on the dark web as I best understand it. Disclaimer. I'm just a guy with a rudimentary understanding of it. Other people, like some ordinary gamers on YouTube, could explain it a lot better. Anyways, the deep web is everything left uncatalogued by search engines like Google and Bing. This includes police databases and hospital records. Everything that is cataloged by search engines is usually referred to as the clear web. The dark web is a part of the deep web. The dark web is specifically the Tor network. It's essentially a series of three-way relays run by volunteers all over the globe. As I understand it, your signal is bounced through that relay, randomly and while being heavily encrypted. And websites can't tell where you're coming from or where you're going or who you even are, because every signal from Tor looks the same. Story 13. Illegal activities. The dark web is often associated with a wide range of illegal activities that are difficult to trace. It's a place where law enforcement struggles to monitor and shut down various criminal operations. This includes medicine trafficking. The dark web is home to many marketplaces where illegal meds are sold. Users can purchase substances that are otherwise difficult to obtain, such as prescription medications without a prescription, hallucinogens, and synthetic meds. Weapon trade. It's also a place where firearms, explosives, and other weapons can be bought and sold, including military-grade hardware. This is a severe threat to public safety, especially in areas where guns and violence are already a problem. Stolen data. Cybercriminals often sell stolen personal data, such as credit card numbers, login credentials, and even corporate data. This data can then be used for fraud or identity theft. These activities are largely facilitated by the anonymity the dark web provides. making it much more difficult for authorities to track down perpetrators. Story 14. Anonymous marketplaces. Marketplaces on the dark web allow individuals to engage in buying and selling without revealing their identity. These transactions are often done using cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin or Monero, further masking the identities of both buyers and sellers. Examples of such marketplaces include Silk Road, the most infamous dark web marketplace, which was used to sell illegal, was shut down by the FBI in 2013. However, new marketplaces constantly pop up to replace the old ones, such as Alphabay and Dream Market. Fake documents. On these marketplaces, people can buy counterfeit IDs, passports, and driving licenses, making it easier for criminals to conduct illegal activities without getting caught. While some marketplaces are just shady, others actively host dangerous and illegal products, making it difficult for authorities to monitor the transactions. Story 15. Hacking services. The dark web is a popular marketplace for cyber criminals offering hacking tools and services. These services can be bought for a relatively low price and often include denial of service, DDoS attacks. For a fee, hackers will overwhelm a target website with traffic, effectively taking it offline. This can be used to harm businesses, disrupt services, or as part of extortion attempts. Data breaches. Hackers may offer services to steal valuable data from businesses, including credit card information, personal data, or company secrets. Phishing attacks. Cybercriminals offer phishing kits, which are templates designed to trick people into revealing sensitive information like usernames, passwords, and financial details. This creates a dangerous environment where any person, even with little technical knowledge, can hire someone to cause harm. Story 16. Stolen personal information. The dark web has a thriving market for stolen personal information. Hackers and criminals buy, sell, and trade sensitive data, including social security numbers, a high-value item on the dark web. They can be used to create fake identities or steal someone's financial information. Credit card information. Fraudulent transactions often occur using stolen credit card data purchased on the dark web. This can lead to significant financial loss for individuals. Medical records. These are sold for identity theft or used to fraudulently bill insurance companies. Login credentials. Hackers often sell stolen login details for email, banking accounts, and even corporate accounts. This leads to further cybercrimes, including financial theft and corporate espionage. This stolen information can cause lasting damage to individuals and businesses, with many people unaware their data has been compromised until it's too late. Story 17. Snuff films. While not as common as some other aspects of the dark web, snuff films, videos depicting real violence or murder, are an extremely disturbing part of this underground network. The term snuff refers to films where the death of a person is recorded for entertainment purposes. Some of the reasons why this is especially alarming include exploitation. Victims may be coerced, forced, or manipulated into participating, and their suffering is filmed for profit or sadistic enjoyment. Dark web rumors. Although it's uncertain how widespread snuff films are on the dark web, rumors and investigations indicate that the platform is used to circulate horrific videos, including torture and murder. Lack of accountability. Because many of these films are posted anonymously, it's incredibly difficult to identify or hold the perpetrators accountable. Authorities are constantly trying to identify and shut down these videos, but the anonymity of the dark web makes it nearly impossible to stop. Story 18. Doxing and vigilantism. Doxing refers to the act of publicly revealing private or personal information about an individual, often with malicious intent. The dark web has become a hub for vigilante groups and cyberbullies who target people for various reasons. Harassment. After doxing someone, the personal information, example, home addresses, phone numbers, or family details, is shared widely on the web, leading to harassment, threats, and even physical harm. Vigilante justice. Some groups target individuals or organizations they consider corrupt or dangerous. This could involve revealing private data to punish someone, or encourage public shaming. The dark web makes it easier to engage in these activities while remaining anonymous, making it incredibly hard to stop. Story 19. Ransomware. Ransomware is malicious software that locks a victim's computer or encrypts their files, and the attacker demands a ransom, usually in cryptocurrency, for the release of the data. The dark web hosts many services related to ransomware, including ransomware as a service. Some cybercriminals sell or lease ransomware tools to others. This has made it easier for low-skilled individuals to launch devastating attacks against businesses or individuals. Targeting big businesses. Companies are prime targets for ransomware attacks. Once the ransomware is deployed, the victim must pay a ransom to decrypt their data. Failure to comply could result in public leaks of sensitive data, financial losses, or long-term operational damage. This has become a multi-billion-dollar industry for cybercriminals, and businesses of all sizes are constantly at risk of such attacks. Story 20th. Lack of regulation. One of the most concerning aspects of the dark web is its lack of oversight and regulation. The anonymity of users allows them to engage in activities without fear of being caught by traditional law enforcement. Cryptocurrencies make it difficult to trace financial transactions, meaning criminals can operate without fear of detection. Unregulated marketplaces often operate without any rules or laws, making it impossible for victims to seek legal recourse if they are scammed or harmed. Jurisdiction issues. Because the dark web is global, different countries may have different laws or enforcement capabilities, and criminals exploit this to avoid capture. The lack of regulation means the dark web is a lawless space where anything goes, and its dangerous elements persist without accountability. Story 21. Blackmail and extortion. Extortion is another common threat on the dark web, where criminals threaten to release sensitive information or harm the victim unless they are paid a ransom. Extortion tactics on the dark web can involve data leaks. If an individual or business refuses to pay, hackers may release sensitive data publicly, causing reputational damage or financial harm. Threats of violence. Some extortionists threaten physical harm to the victim or their loved ones unless money is paid. Exploitation. Certain criminals may blackmail victims with compromising photos or videos, threatening to share them unless payment is made. These tactics can cause immense psychological, emotional, and financial harm to victims. Story 22. Malware and viruses. Malware is rampant on the dark web, with numerous websites offering malicious software designed to steal data, damage systems, or compromise security. Common types include keyloggers. These monitor and record keystrokes, enabling cybercriminals to steal login credentials, personal information, and financial data. Trojan horses. These programs appear harmless, but contain hidden malicious code that can give hackers full access to a victim's system. Ransomware. As mentioned earlier, ransomware is another form of malware that encrypts data and demands payment to unlock it. Simply accessing the wrong website or downloading a file can result in malware infecting your device, causing significant harm to your personal and financial security. Story 23. While I personally never received anything from any deep web affiliated sales folk, I did live with a roommate who would constantly receive the strangest brochures. At first, we'd receive brochures for things like cruise lines and the like. I wrote it off as junk mail, but they came so frequently, and they started getting stranger. Christian mingle brochures, petting zoo brochures, brochures for any and all services one can think of. I kind of felt like someone was gaslighting me, but I never said anything and the brochures would disappear as quickly as they came, so I didn't have time to stress it. Until one day I walked in and my roommate was delicately cutting into a brochure and pulling out a small baggie of powder. Mother Trucker had hooked up with the most low-key dealer I'd ever seen. Story 24. The founder of the first Silk Road hired hitmen on Tor or Onion websites to kill 6 people, including one of his employees. Said employee was hidden by the FBI. The other 5 remain unexplained. The FBI thinks nobody died, but all news articles are shady about whether they're certain nobody died, or if they weren't able to link him to 5 disappearances murders. Story 25. We like to think that the dark web is somewhere out there, beyond the walls that Google has painstakingly constructed for each of us. The truth is that the dark web is inside us. The invention of the internet has allowed us to glimpse the dark fantasies of others while remaining behind the veil of anonymity. All it takes is a spark of morbid curiosity. We are both shocked and relieved to find others more twisted than us. But sometimes, we are all too eager to see just how deep that rabbit hole goes. These are not depraved human beings. They just wear their depravity on the outside. Story 26 messed with the dark web for a couple of days, eventually stumbled upon a 4chan like site. I like 4chan, so I decided to check it out, whilst knowing I had the chance to find some weird crap. I saw a thread, didn't click on it, but could see the first few responses, where a dude asked for child vids and saw a couple people responding with their emails. I noped the F out and haven't really messed with it since. It's pretty hard to faze me, but seeing these sick freaks exist really turned me the wrong way. Also, if I do ever F with it again, is it even worth it or possible to report these sites to the authorities? Or does their anonymous nature make it too difficult? Or it may place me in a really bad position. Story 27. So I read this post about a dark market inquiry where this guy who was an exterminator was looking to buy bulk bedbugs online. In the comments, people figured out that he was basically trying to breed bedbugs to be immune to all major poisons, except for his own that he produced. Whether or not he is able to actually do this, he planned on unleashing his genetically immune bug creation on mankind, where only his extermination component would be the only thing to destroy them, thus making him filthy rich. So basically, he was a mad scientist. Also, not a horror story. But there are some markets where you can apparently get a girl to write whatever you want on her chest, like your name or whatever, for money.